Welcome to Rom Wills, Money Matters. A big hindrance to financial success can be your own family. I'm gonna be real with it because this is something that many men and women may have faced in trying to build financial success, either through a career or through their own business. And that's family members, especially if they were born to like a poor family or even a family that's making just a little bit of money just above poverty, who are struggling. Because what it is, the hindrance is in the mindset. Because ultimately, and I've said before, ultimately that's what this channel is about. Changing your mindset. Technical aspects of business, somebody else can come up with that. There's somebody else can come up with the technical aspects of business. But when we're talking about the business mindset, it's not as much out there talked about it. And then especially if you're an entrepreneurial, or maybe you want to just get a very good education and get a professional degree. Whatever the case, you want to be on a path to making a lot more money, but then your family isn't. And I'm going to tell you why that can be a problem. Okay, if they either poor or just barely making ends meet or on the lower end, they don't have that same mindset. And the thing with family, they might not understand what you can do. Because, yeah, if you're going to be a pro athlete or something, they figure, hey, I'm going to live off of that. You know, in fact, that's an issue many athletes have had. You know, they get their $1 million contracts. All of a sudden, all their family members try to get a cut or get some cousin you've never seen before, only seen at some like random family reunion or a funeral, going to show up with their hands out. Shoot, I even had that with a cousin reaching out to me, you know, knowing, saying, hey, do you have any money for this guy? Can I get some money from you? I ain't even respond to her. And I'm unapologetic about that. But they can be a big hindrance to you because their mindset, they don't know what it takes. Obviously, if they did, they would be there. They don't know what it takes to get there. See, one thing about money and people who make money, a lot of times people see the end product of it. They see them, you know, like pushing a nice car, got the nice neighborhood, able to take care of their bills. They don't see how you had to work for it. Like if you want to go to school and get into a professional career, like being a doctor or an attorney or a CPA, they don't see the hours you had to work, that you might have had to starve a little bit. You know, you had to work maybe 2 jobs and take some classes. And then, you know, you got all that stress there, or how you had to study for that bar or, you know, the medical exams, all of that. Or to actually get that, pass that CPA exam. They don't see that. Or if you have that successful business, they didn't see when you might have had to sleep at the floor. You might have had that store. You might have had to sleep at that store too. That might have been your address. I mean, seriously, they don't see that. And see, you have to have a certain mindset, but they don't have it. And in fact, sometimes, even just taking a risk, because let's just be real, a lot of entrepreneurs, they might go through 2 or 3 businesses before they find the one that sticks. They might find it. And then you got some relatives, they can be well-meaning. They say, well, baby, why don't you get a job here? Or why don't you do that? Or I don't think you can make it. No, they're saying they can't make it. It can be tough. It can be tough. I faced it somewhat. I faced some things like on my come up. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Like, man, like education-wise, sometimes people act a little funny. Or you in a business, or they say, oh, this ain't working for you, not doing this. It's like, no, because the thing about you building a business or a career is not going to happen right away. You know? It's not going to, you start a business up, it ain't going to start making like major money right away. Shoot, you got to build it up. It's not. I mean, yeah, you might have an exception. Somebody might say, wow, this business, they started off right away. And actually, they probably didn't. even what you might think of as an exception. They just letting you, giving you that image. They ain't say how much they had to study, how much they had to research, how they had to learn the skills and everything. But sometimes the family, that's not supportive. Now you trying to build one thing, if you're an entrepreneur or you want to be a professional, do anything to make money, you still need just emotional support. You need some type of support. And unfortunately, you have some entrepreneurs, some professionals, they might have to like pull away from their family. I've seen many accounts, known some people, they just like, their family just wasn't on that level and they deal with them very sparingly. They just had to pull away. Because like I said, there is always that tendency, even if they do make it, the family starts leaning on them and expecting them to pay for things. So that could be tough. But then on the rise up, since they don't have that same vision, they whispering in your ear, oh no, people can't do that. Oh no, some might even tell you, nah, nobody makes it in that. You know, they get mad at you, and then when you pull them back, they think something wrong with you. Of course, they hit you up as soon as you start making it. They hit you up. All of a sudden, they be like, hey, can you pay this bill or something? Indeed, that's a major thing. That's something to talk about. That is something to talk about. You know, they look at you as an ATM. And that's a prominent thing. So it's like, it could be, like if you find that financially successful, you have that much love in your heart is one thing. But then on the build up, it's tough. It's tough, you know? Shoot, it can be tough for just relationships. It can be tough for relationships, you know, especially if you're a fella. You can't you might have to sleep on that air mattress for a bit. Hey, I've slept on that air mattress for a few years. Proud of it too. I am proud of it. Cause now look at what I'm sleeping on now. I'm like, yeah, I can even do even better than that. But I had to sleep on that air mattress for a while. I had to eat at that dollar store for a minute. So I was like, but I didn't have any hindrance when I was doing some of the bad stuff. But I remember, I remember some stuff. They not always as supportive. And then sometimes they could be, when you in that like building phase and it's not happening quick enough, they'll just be saying, hey, why don't you just give up on that? Like I said, they can be a big hindrance. Can be. And it's tough. I'm going to tell you what, it's tough. This is the only advice I can give to that. You still got to keep going for your vision, because I'm going to tell you what, if you give up that vision because your family, what they saying or how they're acting, you're going to come to resent them. And I've seen that. I've seen people, sometimes even in cases where it wasn't even just getting a regular job. They don't even deal with their family anymore. That's how deep it is. So that's just something to really think about. One of the things when you're building, you need to be surrounded by people who at least support your vision. At least support it. They're not going to say anything to try to dissuade you. You need people who believe in you. Now, it's not saying, yeah, you're going to have some failures along the way, but even in your failures, you need somebody who's going to be there and like, hey, let's pick you up. Let's try something else. So it's a very real thing. So anyway, though, that's all I have for now. I want y'all to really think about that, all right? But here's the deal. Regardless of how your family is, let's go make that money.